Hi, this is Cindy. Keep It Real podcast, and we're here today with the natural Chase Stevens. Thank you so much for finally coming on with us.
Oh, I'm glad you could have me this time. I mean, last time was my fault. The time for that was my fault. The time for that was my fault. But, you know,
I think it's only been twice.
it has only been twice,
Yeah,
but I like to overdo things. You know what I mean? Third time's a charm.
that's right. That's right. So, for people that have no idea, I don't know who it's going to be that's watching a wrestling podcast. I don't know who you are. You want to tell a little bit about yourself before we ask some questions?
Man, I don't even know who I am half the time. Wake up, look in the mirror, wondering. Natural Chase Stevens. Been around right at 27 years in professional wrestling. Traveled the world a couple times over. I started in '97, and fast forward to today, I'm still kicking and still going strong. So here I am.
Awesome. So, what made you want to wrestle?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, it was never one of my dreams. No, I boxed my whole life and played all kinds of sports. I mean, there wasn't a sport I didn't play at the time back in school. So if I mean, you know, just coming up, growing up, I played sports my whole life, and it was just kind of one of those things. I didn't take school all that serious, except I had to get good grades to play the sports. So we just did the bare minimum back then. And then when graduation time, it was time to do something with your life, and I ended up joining the military for boxing and went overseas. And then I watched a actual wrestling match over there, wrestling show, I guess, and it was different. It was a little independent show. I come back home, and my boxing instructor had passed away, so I end up I didn't make his funeral. I didn't even know he passed away. So I didn't get any. Back then we didn't have cell phones, so everything's like written down little black books. So I lost all my contacts through him, with his passing and his family, getting all this stuff and me not really knowing who they were to get a hold of them. There's no way of like finding them and things like that back then. There's no Google search or Facebook or anything like that. So I ended up just putting the word out with a few people I did know, and ended up coming across a MMA fight in St. Louis, Missouri. Called them, and they were like, yeah, let's bring it in. So I went and did an MMA fight. Got there, didn't know anything about it. But I'd wrestled in high school and everything else. So like, boxed and all this. So I was well rounded, but I just had never, other than just watching UFC on VHS a couple times, I didn't really know anything about MMA. I got there and Dan Severance is on the show, and
Wow.
he's UFC champion at the time. And I thought I was at the wrong venue because, we were trying to read an atlas and get there. And at this point in time, I'm not very good at reading an atlas. So, in St. Louis, great big, city, I'm coming from this little town. And then I'm getting back from Germany. So everything's completely opposite from there. So, and it's a blizzard going on. I mean, like anything that can go wrong is went wrong. There like is a legit blizzard going on. And I was just like, man, we're at the wrong place. Like this place is huge. It's a packed arena. And doors are open. They're already selling tickets. People are everywhere. And because in St. Louis, a blizzard ain't nothing. I mean, that's an everyday activity in St. Louis, So anyways, I get there, and my name is Ryan Arms. They changed my name on the show to Ryan Arms. And I ended up winning like pretty fast. I was first match out, and it's 36 seconds. Got in the back, and I wanted to stay and watch the rest of the show because I was intrigued. I watched Dan Severance fight at the end, main event, and it's coming in the back. He tells me not to leave. I need to talk to him. And I was like, I knew it. I knew I should have got out of here. Like, I'm already in trouble. Like I was a little shit stir when I was a kid. Not that I'm like such a good kid now. This grown up version of it. So anyways, I went in the back afterwards. And I was like, hey, sir, you said you need to talk to me. And he started talking to me in wrestling lingo, which I had no idea what he's talking about. I'd never heard this before. Like, Snoop Dogg wasn't really, big yet. Like, I mean, he had some stuff out, but I had never heard this. I've never heard Carney or anything like this. And I was like, I thought he was American. I was like, I don't know what language that is, but I ain't got a clue what you're saying. And he started laughing and he's like, well, you know, who you wrestle for? And or he's like, you wrestle, correct? And I was like, yeah, I wrestle. And he's like, well, who you wrestle for? And I was like, well, Washington High School. And he's like, no. Who pays you to wrestle? And I was like, shit, somebody owes me a lot of money. Like, I was like, man, ain't nobody ever gave me any money to do it. You know, like I've been doing it all wrong this whole time. You know, so he figures it out pretty quick that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I'm really telling him the truth. I never wrestled. And he's like, how'd you get on this? Like, you got to know somebody. And I was like, man, I called a few people and I got a phone number, called this, and, you know, here it is. He's like, man, he's like, you fought Jeff Osborne tonight. He's the UFC commentator, and he knows everybody in this except you. And then you go out there and you demolish him, you know. So I figured, you know, he's working him. And I was like, no, I was trying to win. I mean, you know, and he's like, well, when you booked again? I was like, I don't know. I don't even know who the guy is supposed to pay me. I was like, so, you know, that's kind of why I've been waiting here too. So he gives me a few numbers, and I got home, and one of my high school buddies did want to be a wrestler, and he'd already looked into it and things like that. And we started comparing notes, and he was like, you know, yeah, that's Evansville, Indiana. He's like, they have Wednesday night shows, you know, and then they have training class, you know, right before the wrestling. So I went up there and watched, and I was like, man, I can do this. Like, I can totally do this, you know. So I talked to them afterwards, and they told me to come in the next Wednesday, and as you know, pay this much down, you know, blah blah blah. So you know, we put our money down, and he was already training. He already trained a couple of days. My buddy had. So I go in, put my money down, and they just try to demolish me. Like they try to get rid of me like quick. So they got me doing like all this stupid shit because they didn't want me. They already got my money. They didn't want me in the ring, and I totally get it now. But I didn't get it back then. Back then, I was just an idiot, and I was like, "Nah, I'm getting my money's worth out of this." Like, I've already put the money down, and I am making it through this training, and I'm gonna get my money back at least. You know what I mean? Like because I was told that you get paid to do this, and I'm getting paid. You know, like I'm gonna wrestle till I get my money back. So I still think I'm still trying to get my money back. I don't know when that's gonna come, but but anyways, you know, I trained a couple times, and there's like, hey, we have a couple guys not coming, you know, this week, so we need to use you guys. And I was like, well, I have nothing. Like I have no wrestling gear. Like I don't look like any of those guys. And he's like, oh, we'll get you some stuff. Don't even worry about it. And I was like, no, like hold on. Like I already got this idea in my head on like kind of what I want to do and stuff. And it's like, well, we don't give a shit about your idea. Like this is what we're gonna do, you know? And you know, I get down there and I'm wrestling this chick named Tracy Smothers, and you know, her name's circled on the little piece of paper. I don't know what the hell that means, but
everybody knows her, right?
Yeah. But I was like, I ain't losing to a chick, and I know no offense, but I was a little stud when I was a kid, and I just wasn't having it. And you know, I'm telling everybody, I'm telling what I think's the janitor, and you know, this gray bearded guy, you know, I'm telling him, he's like, well, what, you know, which match are you? I was like, I'm that one, wrestling the chick, you know, that Tracy Smothers chick. And it ends up being Barry Windham, and he's like, just shut up. He's like, shut the fuck up. That's what he says. He walks off. So I get in there and I'm telling my buddy, you know, what the deal is. And he goes out there and looks at the card. He comes back and he's like, same thing. Shut the fuck up. And I was like, oh, you talked to that old man, did you? You know, I was like, I'm getting that guy fired. That guy ain't never cleaning this locker room again. Like, screw that guy. You know? So and then whenever Tracy comes in, like he's a full grown man. Like he's a big guy, you know, like shakes my hand like extra strong. He's got this extra firm hand grip. He's like Tracy Smothers. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, my brain, like the light bulb comes on. I'm like, oh, I guess it could be universal. Like he could be a male, you know, like shit. Like, you know what? You know, did they already tell him or something? How do you know to grip my hand that strong? You know what I mean? So man, he goes over a couple things with me, and he's like, got it? And I was like, nah, I ain't got it. I have no idea what you just said. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll go over it 1,000 more times. And we didn't go over it one more time. Like, you know, like second match come up pretty quick, and he's like, you ready? And I was like, no, I'm not ready. Like, I was like, man, I'm just gonna have to wrestle. Like, that's all I know how to do is just amateur wrestle. I'm gonna go out there and make a fool out of myself because I ain't got a clue how to do this drop down leapfrog bullshit. You know, I ain't even done it yet. I'm still trying to learn how to fall down right, you know? So, so I get out there and I locked up amateur style with him. And he just breaks my nose right off the bat, just punched me right in the face. He's like, you don't even know how to lock up? And I was like, no, I told you. But I didn't get to say it. I'm just thinking it in my head real quick, you know? So he grabs me by the seat of my pants and just throws me over the top rope. And I'm not a cat. I didn't land on my feet. I lawn darted straight to my head, you know? And he comes out and he's like, do you know how to dive? And I was like, man, did he say dive? He's like, fake one, give one. I was like, what the fuck's that mean? So I run and hit the ropes and jump over the top, and he ducks down, and I land on his back, and he's like, you stupid motherfucker. And I was like, shit. I was like, man, I don't know what I did. But he starts hammering me again, like boom, boom, boom. He's like, you know what a fucking finish is? And I was like, God, I hope I know what that is. Like, I'm ready for it, you know. So he like rolls me in. He's cussing the ref just as much as cussing me. He's got me like hooked by the leg, and he's like, count three, motherfucker, count three. And I was like, man, is he talking to me? Like, I'll count three for myself, like, you know. So like, yeah. So one and done. You know, I got downstairs and you know, I'm just like a little kid. Like I just shut my mouth. He's screaming at me, you know, call me every name underneath the sun, call me everything but a man. And then he's like, how long you been doing this? And I was like, well, uh, I trained 2 times, you know. And he's like, what the fuck you say? And I was like, oh, well, I'm counting today, you know, too. And he was like, who put you in the ring with me? And I was like, oh, that guy right there. So they get into it, and then he's like, you gotta change your clothes. And I did. I had to change clothes because they let me have all, you know, they let me borrow all this stuff. So I had, you know, my workout clothes that I brought. He's like, I'm gonna teach you how to wrestle. I thought we were just going to the next venue, like they told me, like, you know, the next day they wrestle, and then he'd bring me back and we go home. Dude, I didn't come home for 9 months. He like kidnapped me for 9 months. You know, I had one change of clothes for 9 months. Like it was you know, so now I'm stuck in wrestling. You know, 27 years later, you know, like there ain't no getting out. Like, you know, you kidnap me for 9 months and I don't come home for 9 months. Like I'm a lifer. Like I ain't going nowhere now, you know?
Yeah, they're going back, right?
Yeah, there ain't no going back. There ain't no going back. You're stuck with me, guys. You're stuck with me.
Well, I'm glad we're stuck with you. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder about that every once in a while, but you know, we'll get to that down the road.
Yeah. So that is that how you ended up? How did you end up at TNA? I know there were other things before that, but how did that come about?
I moved in with Smothers down in Tennessee, and he left me on a weekend. He woke up before I did. I don't even know what the deal was. He just went on the road without me, left me by myself. So I'm sitting there flipping through the channels, and this show's on, USA Championship Wrestling with Burt Prentice down at the Nashville Fairgrounds. It's like tonight. And I was like, well, shit, that's where I need to be tonight. I need to go there, you know? And Tracy always told me not to wrestle for him, but I was like, man, I'm sitting at home, and that's the only thing I know that's going on. So, so I made a couple phone calls to some buddies, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, well, Bert just runs it. He doesn't book it. You know, you got to call this guy Blackie West. Who I thought was a black guy. He's not. He's a white dude. You know, so me, when I got to the video, I'm like, I'm supposed to talk to a black guy named Blackie West, and it was like, or named Blackie. And they was like, yeah, we don't have a black guy here named Blackie. And I was like, well, I'm supposed to talk to a black guy named Blackie. And they was like, well, it's $8 if you want to come in. And I was like, well, I ain't got $8. Like I need to make 10 so I can get home. You know, like I need gas money to get home. And I'd already forgot where we lived. I couldn't remember the town that we lived in. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a lost puppy dog all the time, you know, as a kid, you know? Yeah. Oh yeah. So so they give me a cup, and I was like, what do you want me to do with that? And they was like, go out there and come up with $8. Like, somebody will give you some change. So like I walk out of the building, I'm like looking around, and there's nobody in existence. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to panhandle $8? I was like, no. So I went walking back in, I'm arguing with this old lady up front, and I'm going off on her. And Bert comes waddling in, and he's like, where you been? I was like, try to come up with $8, buy this ticket. You know, I can't get past this old lady at the front door. So he's like, get over here. So like, you know, I'm like basically sticking my tongue out at that old lady, like, I'm getting in.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. So my name is Chase Bradley back then, you know, and I get up to Bert, and he asks who I am. I tell him everything. And he's like, He's like, ah, you don't look like a Bradley. You look like a Stevens. We're gonna call you Chase Stevens. And I was like, well, I don't give a shit what you think I look like. Like, my name's Chase Bradley. So we was already in a disagreement and all this, you know. So and that was kind of our friendship relationship throughout, you know, my career was me and him arguing about everything. So anyways, he puts me in the locker room, brings me out. I mean, it's a hell of a house. Like, he's got a nice big TV set up, and which was not set up when I went in the locker room. So it's all like right in my face when I walked out. When we finally got through the argument and I made it through the curtain, I was in regular clothes. I didn't even change clothes because he didn't put me on the card. He just announced me and brings me out. He's just telling me I got a personal interview. I get out there and I get shoved from behind, and I turn around. This great big guy's like staring at me. He's like, I've been here 3 years. I've never had my own personal time on TV. Why do you? And I was like, is this a shoot? I was like, who the fuck's this guy? You know, Bert pulls the microphone down. He's like, better hit him. And I was like, knock him out? Like, what do you want me to do? So I'm like, man, I gave him a work punch, and I was like, please, please fucking don't be for real. You know, because this guy's gonna hit me right back real, you know, if I work punch him. So I give him a work punch, he sells it. And I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. So he extends a hand, I grab it, he goes to shoot me, I go to shoot him off, he reverses me, he says duck one, cross body. I cross body him, and referee comes in. 1, 2, 3. Bert tells me roll out of the ring. I roll out of the ring in my jeans and t-shirt. He's like, oh my God, Chase Stevens just beat Rick Michaels and won the world, you know, the USA heavyweight title, you know, in less than 30 seconds. So then my name was Chase Stevens. You know, I got a couple commercials the next day. I made $1,500 making these 2 commercials, and everything was just grand. You know, like I don't know, a month later, I'm shaking everybody's hand. I get in the locker room, I'm shaking everybody's hand, and Cassie Riley comes up to me, and I introduced myself to him, and he's like, yeah, you're my tag partner. And I was like, no, I got a tag partner. And he's like, no, it's me, and we're the Hot Shots. And I was like, nope. I already got a name. I don't like that name. So that was another one of those arguments, you know, where I was like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And, you know, Cassie ended up being cool as shit, and we ended up getting along great, and went on as the Hot Shots. And then give it about 6 months, 6-7 months, TNA TNA didn't exist yet. Jeff Jarrett's dad, come to the fairgrounds scouting talent, and we just happened to be one of the ones he picked out. You know, it was AJ Styles, David Young, Chris Harris, James Storm as AMW. They weren't tagging at the time, though. They were wrestling each other. Me and Cassidy. I think that was all that got taken. But we got done with our matches, and every time we got done with our match, they would ask us if we wanted to sign the contract. And, you know, I was ecstatic. I was like, man, I knew I could do it. You know, but there was no damn wrestling show. So we signed these contracts, and we did nothing but work for Burt Prentice for probably 4 months. You know, I just sit at home going, hey, did we just do something stupid? Did we just sign ourselves away to like a wrestling company that doesn't exist? So, you know, and thank God it did. It took off, you know, whenever it did. But, you know, it took months for them to get everything prepared and get a roster put together, get the venues booked, you know, worked out, and the lighting, and, you know, the ring and all this other shit. So, but you don't know as a kid, you don't put that together. You show up to the venue and maybe put a ring together, maybe take a ring down, but you're not in the business sense of, hey, I got to build a company now. I got wrestlers under contract. So that's kind of what happened. You know, I don't know the ins and outs on everything there, because you know, I wasn't in that stable at the time with Jeff and Jerry when they were putting the show together, when they were putting the TNA together. I was at home bitching the whole time to Bert. He was like the cutoff man, so I didn't have Jeff's phone number at the time, so I just called Bert and argued with him all the time, like I did normally, anyways. And then they didn't have I don't think they wanted to put us on TV. They just had to, because I was bitching so much, you know, like, so they finally brought us in and put us on TV, and they all right, I got to tell this one. This it's comedy now, but it wasn't comedy when I was younger. Hey, hold on. Let me turn this light on real fast. Hold on. It's getting dark.
It happened kind of quick too.
Yeah, I did, man. My lights went out. So, anyways, all right. I come walking into the venue the first time I come walking in, and Cassidy had already been with WCW a couple times, so he's he knows a few of the guys. So, anyways, I come in and he's shaking people's hands, and I'm just meeting them for the first time, and just trying to be cool. And Vince Russo comes beelining up to us, and he's like, "Who are you guys?" And Cassie's telling him, Cassie Riley, Chase Stevens. He's like, "Are you guys a tag team?" And we was like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are." And we didn't even know he had anything to do with it at the time. And he's like, we was like, "We're the Hot Shots." He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's like drinking this water bottle, and he puts this water bottle on the inside of his leg, like a dick. And he's like, "We're gonna call you guys the Hot Dogs. We're gonna give you guys these strap-ons, and we're gonna call you Oscar and Frank." And I was like, "I bet we're not. I bet we're not." And Cassie's got this big shit-eating grin on his face, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, whatever you need, whatever you need." And I was like, I don't know who the hell you're talking to. Like, there's two of us here, and I'm not doing it, So I was just like, you can just tell I was like real standoffish during this conversation. So as he walks off, I look over at Cassidy, and I'm like, they ain't happening. And he's like, bullshit. Like, he's like, this is my time, and you ain't fucking this up. Like, you're gonna do whatever you gotta do to stay on TV. I was like, I bet I don't. I was like, we ain't doing it. We are not doing it. So I take off and go towards Jerry and Jeff Jarrett's dad. I go into him and start talking to him, and I'm like, "Hey, just met Vince Russo," and he's like spitting in the spit cup, and he just looks back at me, and he's like, "I don't like him." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, me either. I just met him, I hate him. Like, what a shitty human being, I'm just saying anything I can to get over, and he's like, I was like, man, he's trying to call us the Hot Dogs. And I was like, he's got this damn water bottle telling us we got to have these strap-ons. And, he's laughing just like how you are. And he's like, what we hire you guys as? And I was like, the Hot Shots. And he's like, yeah, I like the Hot Shots. I like that. He's like, but I like that strap-on deal. I think we're going to, let's do the deal. And we'll call you guys Chase and Cassidy, and you guys be the Hot Shots. So I was like, God dang it, man, I talk too much. I should have just shut my mouth. So here we got these strap-ons. And you couldn't see them because we had black tights. So you couldn't tell we had these things. So we had to go get neon orange tights because it's like thinner material. And it was easier to see like the outline and the shadowing of our strap-ons. So Cassidy has trunks. So his just like a big cup. It doesn't, you can't tell on him. But mine like comes on the side of my leg because I got these biker tights on. It's just like I outlined it. I'd spray bottle outline it too. So the first time I'm out there, I tell Chris Harris, I was like, hey, like, give me that vertical suplex you normally do. I was like, that way, like, everybody can stall on me, and like we try to get these dicks over. Because our words was the 3 P's were pricks, proud, and protruding. We grab our crotches, So as soon as he takes me up, there's probably 2,100 people in the video, like almost completely sold out, and it's dead silent. I'm over there like stalling suplex, and this one guy in the front row, and I know exactly what he looks like. I don't know his name, but I can pick him out of a 2-person lineup for sure. I can pick that guy out of a lineup because I'm looking dead at him. He's pointing. He's like, he's got a boner. So like, so everybody starts whispering, and you can hear the energy building. And then people started going, he's got a boner. I was like, put me down. And Chris is like, nope. And he starts walking me around again. And I'm throwing my legs left and right. Like, I'm going every direction I can. And man, he was just strong as an ox back then, man. It just muscled me all the way around that ring twice. Slow as could be, so everybody could see it. So now I've just learned I'm not embarrassed at anything anymore. Like, my strap-on had a boner, and I was going to be the Hot Dogs at one time. Now at my age, I'm like, man, I wish we'd have been the Hot Dogs. Like, we could have got like an Oscar Mayer mobile, and we could have done all kinds of shit with this. But, young and dumb Chase.
You're talking about David Young. So I've got to tell you, he commented on this post.
Oh, God, here we go.
He said, anything he says about me is a lie. And I wasn't there and I'm sticking to that until the statute of limitations comes out.
Yeah, it's already passed. I don't know if you know, but he's like 65 years old. So, yeah. So that limitation was gone a long time ago. Um, yeah, I got all kinds of stories on David. You guys know David?
Yeah, no, don't know him personally, but yeah.
Man, he's a trip. He's a trip. You just gotta. He loves to go out. Like, so you gotta take him out every time you're around him. He's always trying to escape with me, but I know deep inside he's always wanted to go out. So I've had to kidnap him, like personally kidnap him a few times.
Oh,
And
falling down the tree now. Tracy kidnapped
yeah,
you. So
yeah. I'm just passing the torch. Like David looked like he wasn't having fun back in the day. So I was like, you know what? Here, let me show you some fun, buddy. Like, let me kidnap you. So David would check into the hotel and then he would wait till I got off the elevator and go back down and tell him he needed to change rooms. So I had to get smart and I had to figure out what his real name was. And then I had to go down and tell him, like, hey, I lost my key. And they're like, well, what room you in? I was like, that's a good question. I can't remember. It was and they were like, fourth floor, and I'm like, yeah, fourth floor. And they're like, oh, 421. I'm like, yeah, 421. And I was like, David Williams. And they was like, yeah. So then they give me a key. So then I would go in, and he wouldn't be in there, and I'd be like, oh, left without me. So I take a picture of his gear, and I'm like, where you at, buddy? And he's like, in my room. And I was like, that's funny, because I'm sitting here looking at your shit right now, and you're nowhere to be found. He's like, he'd be like, fuck you, Chase. Fuck you. I just want to go to the movies. I'm like, no, we don't go to the movies. We go out. So I'm like the angry girlfriend, like pulling up next to him on the sidewalk, be like, get in right now. You ain't going to the damn movies. Like I've had to kidnap him a few times.
Few times?
Yeah. It's happened a few times. He got away from me one time. Out of all the years we've known each other, he escaped me one time. We were walking to the van together. We had a minivan because that's all they let me rent back then. And they wouldn't let me have any sports cars anymore. So as we're going away from each other to go around and get on each side of the van, I'm talking to him and I open up and I get in and he opened the door and then he wasn't in the van. I was like, where'd he go? I'm looking and he is running across the road and there's another van with the side door open and he jumps in. At a moving van, he jumps in. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Somebody else kidnapped him. So I was like, you better bring Charlie Brown back, because I swear to God, if you don't bring him back, I'm gonna find out what room you guys are in. And nobody sleeps. And it's like, everyone's like, we can't, man. He really don't want to go out and chase. I was like, he's been saying that for 20 years. Don't you listen to him. Bring his fat ass back here. We're going out tonight. So I ended up having to go out solo that night, all by myself. I still had fun, but poor David, he just sit at home twiddling his thumbs in his own little room. Missed out.
Why would anybody run from you and not want to go out? I don't get it.
I don't either. I've been saying that my whole life.
Don't make any sense.
No sense.
So, you care if I ask you some just random questions?
All right, go right ahead.
All right.
I'll give you some random answers.
All right, random answers. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Ooh, well, it was when I was got into my late teens, and I ended up going out with her a couple times, but Jessica Alba.
Nice.
Way back when I was young. So me and Cassidy, my very first time in LA, I ran into her at a club. God, I can't remember what the name of the club was. Cassidy would remember. He's got a better memory than I got. But man, this line was wrapped around the block. I mean, all the way around. And I was like, we are not standing in line. We're pro wrestlers. Screw this shit. So we walk all the way around everybody mean mugging us. My first time in LA, I have no idea what's going on. And I get up front, and the guy's checking and doing the checklist, and he's like, Are you guys bartenders? You guys here to serve drinks? I was like, excuse me? I was like, absolutely not. I was like, you're fired. I was like, get your manager out here right now. And I just acted like I was somebody. And I mean, we was out there making a video game. I mean, I guess we was somebody, but we wasn't big. And they ended up one of my a friend that I actually knew from MySpace actually come out, end up being the manager, and I was like, holy shit! Like, what's the odds of this happening? So he lets us in and gets us up in the VIP room, and we get bottle service, and Vince Vaughn was up there, Jessica Alba. There's a couple of basketball players was up there, and it was Jessica's birthday, so we ended up going over with them, like hanging out, like just a big group of us, and then we ended up going out afterwards and like just hanging out the whole time, exchanging numbers, talk for a while. So then a couple times when I was out in LA, I'd meet up with her and we go out and dinner and things like that. But yeah, I mean that was it. Like so, so yeah, that was the crush.
That doesn't happen for everybody. Not everybody gets to meet their childhood crushes.
I mean, I thought the same thing. Cassie wanted to go. He's like, we got a flight in like 3 hours. I was like, no, you got a flight in 3 hours. Like, I'm here for life. Like, I wasn't saying it out loud. I kept taking him in the bathroom going, just shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm like, don't you run this. Don't you run this for me. Like, I'll call your wife and I'll tell her, like, he's staying with me. We'll buy a whole airline before this is over. Like, so
Do you like I was going to ask you this earlier, but do you like singles wrestling or tag team better?
man, I've always, I don't know, like the psychology of tag team wrestling always stood out to me. Even though I didn't really watch it growing up, like and I really didn't pay attention much. Like I know a couple of people like that I would see as a young kid staying at a friend's house or something. But once I got into wrestling and once I started paying attention, the psychology of tag team wrestling seemed to be I took to it. Like I understood it. It all made sense to me and it was easy for me to pick up on. But I was trained as a singles wrestler and and Smothers beat it into my head, how to literally beat it into my head, how to be a singles wrestler. But as a tag team, like just the people that I studied and the videos that I would get back in the day, because you couldn't just YouTube things. You had to study through a VHS, and you had to borrow from Paul and Rob John and everybody else to get your little library back then. And a lot of the stuff that I would get would be tag team wrestling. So and not on purpose. It was just how it was. Like all the rest of them had been worn out, had lines thing. You couldn't see the matches in the tag teams at the end, the main events, usually semi-main main events. They wasn't worn out because they were tag teams and people really wasn't watching that much of those videos. So I would watch those and study those, and it just all come together. Like once me and Cassidy tagged and got the TV, and I got comfortable like with Chris Harrison, and I didn't know James Storm until I went to Burt Prentice's. I knew Chris Harris a little bit prior to that, and once we got to TNA together, they become a tag team, and me and Cassidy were a tag team. So we were kind of helping them be a tag team at the time and come together with their stuff. And then fast forward a few months later, Andy comes in. We become the Naturals, and Cassidy, had a family and had other things, obligations he had to do. So they brought Andy in to be a tag team. We ended up becoming the Naturals, and Andy just picked up, right. I mean, he acted like he had been a tag team his whole life, and he hadn't been wrestling very long whenever they brought him in. But he fit right in. Just his psychology. He was trained by some really good trainers, and he did very well. I didn't know much of him until they brought him in and introduced him, and we just got along great. And so now, what I would say that I like tag team wrestling more than anything, but as of right now, I'm a singles wrestler, and I can't seem to keep a tag team. Like all you gotta do is just tag with me, and you become rich and you retire. I mean, that's it. I mean, every one of my tag team partners rich and retired, and then here I am, still kicking it.
See,
Yep.
Destiny. He needs a tag team partner.
Yeah.
Rich and retired.
It only takes a few months on the road.
Come rich and retired. Yeah, I always loved you all as the Naturals. Y'all had great chemistry. I loved watching you all.
And we never talked about anything. We never choreographed much. We literally just work off each other in the ring, and that was I really like that. Like we could make the other teams, we could shine them up, and then we could take over when we needed to. And we just knew what we were like. We had 4 or 5 major tag moves that we'd do. We knew how to set up for them, so we didn't have to call it. We'd know how he's going into it, and we just feed into it. So no, I really enjoyed that tag team.
What's your favorite tag team match? Do you have a favorite one that you've ever had? Like
I do. Let's see. My favorite. Well, there's two. There's the very first 6 sides of steel in the history. Is the Nationals versus AMW, and they were still building the cage in the back. Still building it whenever we got there. So we didn't get to see how tall it was going to be. We didn't even know if it was going to fit in the arena because the building sloped, like the roof sloped. And here I am. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do a shooting star off of it, blah blah blah. And when I got out there and tested it, it was shimmying, like it was moving already because it just, it was new. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to get it to stay up. So when I got out there and tested it, I was like, nah, nope. But I couldn't tell everybody else that. It was just me in my head, So when it come time for it, they're like, go. And I was like, oh, no. Then I tried it again. I was like, fuck, I can't, But you can't say it out loud. You got big cameras on you and shit. So I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I'll just do a moonsault. Like, screw this shooting star shit. So I climb up. I get to the top, and I got all this blood in my eyes, and I hit my head on something. I was like, I knew it. I hit the damn ceiling. Like, I didn't look. Like, I'm on that slope part, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, man. So I look up, and this oval boombox is pulling back from me. It looks like a UFO. And I was like, I got blood in my eyes, and like all hair everywhere. And I was like, is that aliens? Like, what in the fuck is going on? And it's like pulling back from me, like slow motion. And I was just like, I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I got the dumbest look on my face as this is going on. Like, it's a camera. It is like, I just hit my face on it and it just pulled back from me. So it's a good shot of me clueless. I look like a deer in the headlights. And they play it all the time, like my dumb ass trying to get up there and hit my head on it. But I was just like, dude, everything in the world is saying don't do this. So I just went ahead and did the moonsault, like a little flippity moonsault off of it, and then like I think it was the next year, the year after that, is when I went out and actually did the shooting star, and I don't know, it wasn't all it was made out to be. I did it, and I don't know, it just should have been in that first match. That's where it belonged at. But everybody wanted it in on the second time I was in it. They was like, "Oh, you need to get it this time." I was like, "No, I really don't need to get it. Like, if you want to see it, watch it on YouTube because I could care less about doing it." You only need the one and done, and that's it. That's all you need. That's why all I do is lock up now. That's all you get. But and then my second one, this is kind of a sadder one, but Chris Candido's last match. We won the World Tag Team titles. And there's a lot of bad things. Him and his breaking his ankle and having emergency surgery. So pay-per-view breaks his ankle. Monday we have surgery. Tuesday we have TV, and we end up winning the tag titles that night. And the ref's earpiece went dead with 7 minutes left, live TV. 7 minutes left. So and he gave us the go home and told us to take home. So we did, and then we're getting cussed through the commentators that we still got 7 minutes and we got to fill this gap. So Chris Candido got to take the microphone and give his final, talk before he passed. You know what I mean? And nobody knew that, the worst possible scenario was about to happen. Like later on, but like when he went out, he was a world champion. He had beat his demons, come back to TV, got his extra time on a microphone. We weren't supposed to have no mic time, and we ended up having to cover that 7 minutes, and him getting to just blow off steam and joke around and everything. And it was an amazing way to go out, So that ends up being one of my favorites.
Yeah, good reason. For good reason. But yeah, I love Chris Candido. We've got him back here, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, where's he at? Oh, he's way down here.
I can. You're so little on my phone. I can't see. You guys look like two little peanuts.
No, it's him with the franchise.
Oh yeah. He was with us too. I got some good stories of Shane.
Do you? You want to tell us one?
Man, let me think. Well, I don't know if they're appropriate. Yeah, I don't know if I got any appropriate ones that Shane would be like, yeah, go ahead and tell that one. Because that was our wild time. That was Shane's wild time. Like Shane, I thought Shane was. I swear, I thought he was narcoleptic back then because he'd be in the middle of talking to us, and he was always like trying to teach us something and talk. Man, he would stand up and he'd just have a drink in his hand, like a vodka cranberry or something. He wasn't ever like a heavy drinker, but in the middle of his sentence, he would go down, and I'd look over at Andy and be like, "The fuck? How's he drive here?" And then he would come to, as he starts swaying, he'd come to, and he'd go right back into this conversation. He didn't miss a beat. And I'd be like, does he know he's doing this? I mean, like, and I mean, it wasn't just like 2 or 3 times. I mean, it was like about every 15 minutes. And I was like, how did he drive here? Like, how did he get from the airport here? Like, I watched him get a rental car. I didn't ride with him because I thought for sure his head would be bobbing. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here having a puppeteer into his asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
did you ever ask him? If you know
no. I never got the balls to be like, hey, buddy, like, why you keep nodding on me?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. If you ever ask him, I'd love to see the reaction. You mean you went all these years and you knew I was doing it and you didn't tell me?
Man, he did it during a TNA conference meeting one time. Like we don't have seats at the table. He's got a seat at the table. And we're all sitting around, everybody's putting their 2 cents in together, how our characters should be and evolve and this and that. And his head goes boop, right on the table. And everybody got quiet. And like, I was like looking around and everybody's looking at me like I just did it. And I was like, he's so tired. You guys are working him so much. And he comes right back up and he's like, well, these kids right here, and just goes right back into his little spill. And I was like, yeah, I think our spill's done. I don't know if they're gonna let us keep going after that, you know? Yeah. I always had such good times with him though. Like we went up to Detroit, did a pay-per-view in Detroit, and he was like, "Oh, these are my old stomping grounds." So he took us out to like a strip club called the Landing Strip, and it really did have like wrecked planes and stuff in the driveways. You like pull up on it, and I don't think he remembers even being there. Like we walked in for probably an hour and a half, and I videotaped him with so much slobber on his face. Like I was like, dude, we gotta get him out of here. Like Shane partied with the Naturals finally, and like he's so the next day he's telling us, he's like, man, I really wish we went to the strip club. I really want to show you my old stomping grounds. I was like, oh, we went. Like we had a weekend at Bernie's in there. Like, I was like, I got a whole 45-minute video of you. Like you got girls sitting on your lap naked and everything else. You just slobber just running down your face. I was like, I don't think he remembers that. I need to bring that one up too. I need to find that video. That's what I need to do. I need to find that video.
If I could just send it to him.
Yeah, I would. If we had a cloud back then, it's hard telling what I did with that phone though. Like I've peed on so many of them, lost them on the side of the road peeing. Like I've got mad and just chucked it out the window before when I was driving down the interstate. Like
the old flip phones.
Yeah. I was getting so tired of answering the phone. I would just chuck it out the window. I'd be like, oh, screw it. Like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do now? And then later on that night, I'd be like, dude, do you remember what mile marker we were at? And Andy'd be like, I don't even know what state we were in when you threw that out. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm so screwed.
So it's safe to say that Shane Douglas is one that did not run from you.
No,
Before
no, 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 because he would fall asleep on the run. So no, yeah, it's like that. It's like that movie Rat Race with Mr. Bean. You know,
That was a funny movie.
it was funny.
We got another comment from Nick Hamrick while we're talking about people not running from you. He said, he's never beat me and he's never outdrank me.
What?
Nick
Nick
Hamrick.
must he must not be a very good counter. Like we need to poor Nick. We got to get him back in math class. What's he drinking? Kool-Aid?
I don't know. A Fireball?
Now, my blood used to have fire. Like I drank this. This ain't a Fireball. This is kind of a Fireball story, but this is the next day after Fireball. I have a wrestling show. It's at 11 a.m. and they talk about hot dogs. I'm at a hot dog festival, and they have me in this attic of this 2-story house that is serving hot dogs. And they told me that I could have all the beer I wanted for free. So, and that's all there is up there is a refrigerator door full of like God, I can't remember what kind of beer it was at the time, but it's Cronus. It's Cronus. And so I'm having to hit them on the desk and open them up. They're not twist tops. And I don't know how many I drank, but I think I tried to drink them all because I was so dehydrated. And foam started coming out of my shoulders. And I was literally sweating beer suds. Like you could like taste it. And I was like, dude, I'm sweating alcohol. Like alcohol is sweating out my pores. And I was with Shane Williams at the time, and he was like, dude, I don't think that's healthy. Like, you know, I was like, dude, I'm dying. They're not giving me any water up here. Like, I mean, I was drenched in sweat. And it's the only time I've ever drank enough beer at 11 a.m. to sweat suds, beer suds.
I've never even heard that happening to anybody.
Well, now you've heard it.
Now I have. So, speaking of that, what is your favorite beverage?
I don't, anything's got alcohol in it, I'll try. I mean, it'll go down. I'll put it down one way or another. I don't drink for the taste. I drink for the good time, you know? So whatever you order, if you're paying, I got, you know, it's mine. I'm taking it. But, you know, it used to be vodka and soda, and then it changed over to Jack and Cokes. Because when Smothers passed away, that was he would always cuss me. So Monday would always be Smothers' cuss out to everybody. So I would get, you know, hey Chase, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just, you know, headed to the grocery store or blah, blah. Because it'd be like a Monday, you know, there ain't much going on Mondays, like wrestling wise. And then literally 15 minutes later, he'd be like, fuck you. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, oh, I know what you're doing. Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're just robbing people, Chase. You're just robbing people. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, and he'd be like, you know, try to steal my dog, didn't you? And I'm like, what? I didn't know you had a dog. Like, you know, because this like for 10 years it's happened every Monday. So I get like I'd always get these on Mondays. I'd always let everybody read my phone on Mondays. I'm like, dude, look at this shit. And the things he would come up with. You know, and then Tuesday he'd always apologize. Hey, sorry, Chase. I was watching Raw. I was drinking Jack Coke. You know how it is. Like Raw had me pissed off. I don't like Raw. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. You know, it took me like 3 years to figure it out, but I get it now. You know, like he used to get so mad on Mondays because, like I said, he kidnapped me for 9 months. Thank God it was like those old time TVs or like, you know, like heavy set glass picture TVs back in the day, because he would be like. We'd be at a promoter's house. He'd be like, we'd be watching Raw, and he'd be talking about something, and then something wouldn't go how he thought it should go, and he would just hit their TV. He'd be like, oh, fuck him. You know, fuck the Undertaker. Fuck Mark. Fuck. He thinks he's dead. He thinks he's dead since '94. He's dead. He's dead. Yeah. Fuck you, Mark. Fuck you, Mark. That's what he'd say. And I'd be like, oh my God, like, calm down.
Harold Pollock said, "Who was your toughest opponent in TNA?"
Toughest. Man, everybody's pretty easy to work with. Like, I kind of got, I kind of had I had a few disagreements with a couple different people. Um, me and Kevin Nash had a little disagreement at once. Um, I had a disagreement with Jeff once over a contract dispute. So that kind of ventured into other things where they were like trying to hold us down to shave our head, and that didn't work out. Um, and the thing was like the internet was like, oh, you guys won't cut your hair, and that was not the deal. It's the fact our contracts was up, and they wanted us to cut our hair and then re-sign us the contracts. And I was like, re-sign us the contracts, and then we'll cut our hair. So, they had a different idea than what I had, and so then Scott Steiner was like, want to shave our heads, and I was like, well, I mean, it just ain't gonna happen, so it didn't. We don't get our hairs trimmed, but we didn't get our heads shaved. And then so Scott was probably the meanest one. I mean, the toughest one I've ever been in the ring with, Haku. But I mean, he's always been a sweetheart to me. So and the greatest guy in the world. So I've never had any bad karma in the ring, other than that Smothers that time where Tracy just broke me from the get go. Everybody else always worked with me, and really was just great to be around. I haven't had anybody that was that tried to bully me or really tried to manhandle me in a other than just a storyline way.
That's good. That's good. I didn't know he was that mean.
Who's that?
Steiner.
Oh man, Steiner's got some stories. I ain't got no stories with him like that, but I watched him die. I watched him die in Atlanta, Georgia, at a TV taping for 20 minutes, dead on the floor. For 20, he did a little clothesline deal, cut a microphone deal, come back and sit in his chair and fell over. Heart stopped. Took the ambulance like 20 minutes to get there. They shocked him. He left the ER as soon as he got there. Left and went to the show the next day. Left early morning, drove to the show, like dead. 20 minutes, like that. Yeah, Scott's a beast.
That's crazy.
And that just happened. I mean, that was only like 3-4 years ago. It was like 4 years ago. It was 2020.
How did I miss that? I guess they didn't put it out there a whole lot.
Well, now hell no, he died. They didn't want to tell anybody that shit.
No.
In the locker room.
Right back,
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. So do you have if you could trade places with anybody for one day, who would it be?
Man. Is it wrestling related or just anybody?
Anybody.
Man.
Past or present.
Man, I never thought that one through. God. My little brain goes all the time too. I never thought of that one. I don't know. I'd probably be. I don't know. I'd like to see what it'd be like, run a country, like be a king or queen of a country. I'd like to like a Brad Pitt for one day and just fuck up shit. Just go out in the world and just chaos. Things like that. I wouldn't be that person though. So if I looked like that person for a day, it would be chaos because it's only a day. I get to jump back in my body. You know what I mean? So if I got to possess a body for a day, I would fuck some shit up. Yep. They would wake up that next day going, holy shit.
10 years now.
Oh yeah. I'll be running naked down Main Street and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, they see the tabloids, the paparazzi, all the pictures. They'll be like, what?
and, and I've always been a big ribber too. So like we're always like, so that's what I do. I totally rib somebody. Like I mean, I be ringing porch bell, porch camera dingers and all that stuff, man. Like naked, running around. Like if I was like Brad Pitt or something like that, like yep, should be on. He better have some good cardio because I'm going.
Well, if you would ever get to do that, make sure you pick somebody with good cardio.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Yeah, I'm sure Brad ain't got good cardio.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I needs to be like an Olympic runner or something. Maybe I'd be that break dancer from Australia.
Oh no. That was so bad.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I've been practicing now. I think I can make it back to the Olympics in breakdancing.
You probably could, and you could probably win.
Yeah, I think I got it. If you ever see me slow dance, it's just like breakdancing.
Yeah. Never got to see that. Never got
Oh yeah, it's good. You're not missing nothing. It's all right. It's kind of like us. It's kind of like Shane Douglas, 20 years ago.
Okay. Besides getting to meet me, I had to say this at FTC's Midnight Madness. What's your favorite on the road memory? Yes, I said it. Well, he knows
Favorite?
why I said it too. We had a moment there.
Man, we did. Yeah, we talked for a while.
Yeah.
That's because everybody's just quiet in the locker room, and I'm like the party. You know what I mean? Like there ain't no quietness. God, everybody's like playing the silent treatment, like everybody's a mime or something. Then you got me over there doing stand up.
Yeah.
My favorite road story. Let me think. Okay, it's a rib that I'm involved in. It's me and James Storm, and we're in the DoubleTree in Orlando. Bob Ryder's our agent, and he's a little pudgy dude, bald headed, got kind of like a little skullet, and he's pretty chunky. He's been our agent for years at this point in time, and we used to mess with him all the time about all kinds of stuff because he was just a goody, and we would just fuck around with him. And so we go up in his room. We don't rent movies on our TV because it costs us. So we go to his room and we rent movies. That way he has to pay for it, And so anyways, we're up in his room and he's always got like the presidential. So he's got like his own little bedroom and all that stuff. Like he's got his own living room. So we're in there like watching TV and he's in his bed. Movie's over. It's time to go. And Storm's like, "You can't just leave." And I was like, "Yeah, but I was like, I already checked his door's locked. Like, can't fuck with him." Because usually we like shave your eyebrows and stuff like that, And he's like, "I got an idea." And he didn't tell me the idea. I have no idea what's going on. So he goes and gets one of those plastic cups. And he fills it up with water. And he goes over to the chair and he pours it on the chair. It's got like this little padded seat. He runs back, gets more water, pours it on the padded seat, runs back, gets more water, pours it on the padded seat. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Shh, shh." Then he goes and gets a towel. He's on the floor. I mean, like just rubbing the whole floor down. I mean, putting a lot of pressure on it and going for a long time. And I'm like, "You're putting a lot of effort in this." And I'd already poured me another vodka cranberry at the time. And Storm pushes the chair back up to the desk. And he goes over there and just starts beating on Bob's door. Bob's got these little gray underwear. Yeah, go to the store. He's like, "What?" He's like, "There's a terrorist attack here in Orlando." And Bob's like, "What?" He's like, "I swear." He's like, "The news was just talking about a terrorist attack here in Orlando." He's like, "As soon as the movie went off, the news come on." And so Bob comes over and there's like a commercial going on. And Bob's like, "Why is there a commercial if there's a terrorist attack?" He's like, "Well, I'll find it." He goes and pulls this chair out because his laptop's right there. And he sits down, plops down in this chair, and water goes shooting everywhere. And dude, I had snot come out of my nose and hit the window because I'm like looking out the window because I can't look at him in the face. And I'm like, I can see the reflection in the window. That's why I'm looking in the window. And man, I watched his little skull head like start shaking back and forth. He's like, get the fuck out of my room. He never cussed. He's like, get the fuck out of my room. Like, gets all, he's got a gray spot on the back of his shorts, waddles back into his room, slams the door. Yeah, that's a pretty good one right there. That one stands out on the fun memories.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one you'll never forget for sure.
Yeah. We always did all kinds of stuff though. Like, and Storm was always the culprit. I was the innocent bystander that was involved in it usually. Storm, like, he's like, hey, let's go to the grocery or let's go to the convenience store. And I'm like, why? Like, we got all the drinks we need. And he's like, I just need to go. So he's buying shaving cream. I'm like, for what? Like, we got beards, like, And he's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, being weird. He's got he's got envelopes, like these yellow big envelopes. And I'm like, you gonna send mail? And he's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, all right. So later on that night, he's got this like with him the whole time. Later on that night, he's like, is Bob's in the same room, right? I'm like, yeah. So he's like putting shaving cream in the envelope. Then he licks it and seals it. And he cuts a little hole out at the bottom of it. And he's at Bob's door, putting it underneath the door. He's like sticking it underneath the door. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, just follow my lead. And I was like, all right. So he's like, boom, boom, boom on the door. He's like, Bob, open up, hurry up. So you hear Bob like over there, like trying to unlock the door, and he jumps up and jumps on the envelope. So Bob opens the door, and there's white shit like all up on him. And he's like, you pieces of shit. And I was like, I didn't do
it. Yeah, why are you always getting the blame for it, right?
No. I know. We had here's another one. So the bar closes. It closes like, I think it's like 1:00 in Orlando. The bars closed down. So I was like, dude, the bar's about to close. And like we just had all these girls back in the day like coming over. And Chris Harris is like, dude, we need beer. And I'm like, well, you better hurry. You only got like 15 minutes. I was like, I'll go get some off out of Jeff's room, and Chris is like, no, we need it for our room. Like we need some in our room. So Chris is like, here's my room key. That's where I told those girls to go. Here's my room key. I'm gonna go get the beer and I'll meet you guys there. So me and Storm are like looking at each other as he walks out, and we take off out the exit door and just take off running towards the hotel. We like check in and we just grab everything. And I mean, we moved his bed out in the hallway. We moved his dressers out in the hallway. We put his TV up against other people's doors. We super glued like things to his table. Like we had Storm had super glue in his like, or it was me. I had super glue in my fanny pack. So we're super gluing like his super gluing his lamp to his nightstand and got it out in the middle. And and we go. Like we hear the elevator ding as we're moving, so I take off, and I was like, I get on the elevator, and I go the second elevator, and I go down, and as it opens up, Bob's coming on, and he's like, "What'd you do?" And I was like, "I didn't do nothing." And he's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Chris is upstairs about to fight Storm right now, and you're coming down, so I know you did something." I was like, "I didn't do nothing." So like, he pulls me back on the elevator. And he goes back up, and I get off, and they're arguing with each other. And Storm's like, I didn't super good. It was Chase. And I was like, oh my God, what'd you do? Like, I was like, acting like I wasn't there this whole time. And Storm's like, dude, screw you. Like, he was up here with me. And I was like, I had to go pay my tab. I was like, I was in there. I was arguing over my tab in there this whole time. And Storm's like, bullshit. You took off the same time I did. He's like, you're out of breath. I was like, because I had to run over here because Bob said. And he's like, no, bullshit. You just went down the elevator. You took off running down the hallway and went down the elevator. And I was like, I finally ended up telling him. I was like, all right, yeah, this me super glued it, but you know, we just couldn't use that room anymore. We still got to stay at the hotel. We just couldn't use that room.
Just had to switch rooms, huh?
Yeah. We didn't want that one anyways.
Yeah,
It's too high up. Yeah.
Just go down a few floors. You're good, right?
Yeah. That's how you gotta
better
do
anyway.
Yeah.
Bottom floor, get out better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to be on the handicap floor down at the very bottom. Gotta escape.
Especially if you got people running from you.
Yeah, I've already seen aliens during cage matches and things like that. Like, you gotta keep you on the bottom floor. Like, weird things happen when I get up high.
See, Brock Boulder said because you always cause trouble.
What? Who did?
Brock Boulder.
Oh yeah. Bob was not a happy person to be our agent all those years.
What is a dream opponent that you have that you've never got to wrestle?
I would like to wrestle Dynamite Kid back in the day, back when I was younger and could do my stuff. I'd really like to do some Japanese stuff with him. I think we could have tore it up back then. That's about. I mean, anybody else I know I could go with. Like, I've been around him and things like that. Like him, I never got to meet. I never got to talk to him. Like things like that. But I think Kurt Hennig. I think I could. Kurt helped train me, but I never got to actually like have a match with him or anything like that. So I think he polished me and all. So I think I could have tore it up with him back in the day.
I would like to have seen that.
Yeah, I was never on that level at the wrestling shows back then. He was always he was perfect.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that would have been really good though. Really good. Brock's Boulder said me.
Do what now?
Brock's Boulder. He said me.
Oh yeah. The fact that he survived the barbarian, a warlord. I mean, I guess I got to give him a round of applause.
Yeah. So when are you coming back to FTC?
Oh, that's a good question. As soon as they ring this little phone I got, I'm I won't answer, but now I'll text them and be like, "What's up?" I'm big on that deny button, man. Man. If you can't say what you need to say to me in 160 characters, we don't need to talk.
I would rather text also.
Yeah, me too.
It's like I'll call one and I'll text them back and say, "Yeah, what do you need?"
I'm the exact same way. I had to teach my mom how to text just so we can talk now. She was T9 back in the day. I had her going. we used to be so bored in the locker room. We'd do text offs with two different phones and T9 them and see who could. Abyss was always like the best. Abyss was like quicker than anybody else had it. But he was just good. I don't know if you remember T9, but you know how it kind of puts the words together for you on the flip phones back in the day.
Yeah.
And he could do it with two hands. You could give him a sentence and he could two-hand it. And I was like, holy shit, my brain doesn't work like that. But the little brain I have is just for one flip phone.
I used to love it to be able to drive and know how many times to push the buttons.
Exactly.
Off away from the road. And,
yep.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yep. I'm still that way. Everybody's like, you got to put the phone down. I'm like, I don't know how to look at the road and drive. I have to look at something else and drive. Like I'm like just used to side eyeing it. Like, and I haven't been in a wreck since I was like, I think I was 17. 17 was the last time I was in a wreck. So, and that was like, I mean, that was like when Jesus was walking. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
uh, Brock said, "What's in that cup, bud? Coffee, right?"
Uh, yeah, it's a 2 liter of coffee. You know, it, it's something you're not old. It's something you're not old enough for.
And then he said, "You don't answer. I've messaged you a lot, bro."
Yeah, it's because I blocked you.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh,
Okay. And now I said, what is it? Destiny looks so confused about the flip phones.
oh, it's cool. You remember chalkboards?
Before they went to those, what are they now? The marker boards or whatever they have.
Yeah, screens.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Smart boards. Yeah.
yeah, smart boards. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm still out there cranking my car to start it up.
Cindy Parton said, "Coffee, okay."
Oh yeah. Tell her I've never lied a day in my life.
Yep.
Coffee. It's
Coffee.
decaf too. I ain't trying to stay up all night.
Decaf.
Yeah. Caffeinated.
While we're on the topic of caffeinated or decaf, what what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure?
Yeah. What's the one
Like
thing you like to do that
that
like
nobody
you
else.
come home after wrestling and sit down and read a book or you know what I mean? One
Man.
thing
Well, that definitely ain't what I like to do. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I watch. I like to watch. I watch. I watch a lot of movies and things like that.
somebody said
So
in a tutu.
yeah. Don't think my brain wasn't going that way already. I was trying to think how to answer these things on here. Um. uh.
I'm being careful, Brox. He said, "Cindy, be careful." I'm being careful.
I don't know. Like. I do like every Tuesday new movies come out every Monday at midnight. So I purchase every new movie that comes out like every week. So it's always been like a habit that. So I have like a ton of DVDs, a ton of VHSs in storage, and now thank God you just order them on your TV, and they're downloaded to your little thing. So I do that like every Monday at midnight. I'm up, like order. You know,
So movies.
yeah. So that's probably, and then testing out every bar in every town, like that's a good one. You know,
Yeah.
see whenever I was younger, I picked up Wolfie D one time. And I don't know what year this was. This is probably like 2000, 99, 2000. And we're going across state line, and he's like, "Hey, go up here to exit, 27, to the right, 3 miles down, left hand side." He's like, "There'll be a bar, or there'll be a liquor store called da da da." And I was like, "Okay." So exit 20, mile marker 27, exit 27 to the right, 3 miles down, right there it is. He ain't even broke out the outlet yet. And I was like, man, I'm on the road so much. One of these times I can remember mile markers and where things are and shit like that. I barely even know where the States was back then. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know where I was. I was just a lost puppy dog all the time. And so he buys a bottle of vodka and a little Gatorade. And I mean a big one, like a big bottle of vodka and a Gatorade. And I bought a Gatorade too because I wasn't old enough to buy vodka, and I thought they were going to card. So we get in the car, and I put it in reverse, get ready to put it in drive, and he opens up the vodka. And I go ahead and take a swig out of mine so I can put some in. And he tips up the whole bottle and downs it. And then takes a little swig out of his Gatorade. And I was like, what the fuck was that? He's like, I wondered why you didn't get nothing. And I was like, I thought that was for us. I didn't know. Like I had a full on alcoholic in the fucking car. So, and that was before the show. We were on our way to the show. So I thought we were just gonna kind of just be easy. Nah, he's balls to the wall. So I learned vicariously through that I still don't know all the mile markers and where the liquor stores are, but I can pretty much point you to where any bar's at in any town. Because in all honesty, that's all there is to do after a wrestling show, anyways. Like to get food and some drinks and wind down and things like that there's nothing really open, so you have to go to an establishment like that. So it just kind of become like the normal thing to do. So that's just what I do. I mean, I get done and plus it's advertisement. I go there and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy ain't from here. Hey, what do you do? Why are you in town? So now I just let 200 extra people know, that wrestling's in town for whenever I come back.
Good deal.
Yeah, promoters never complain about that part.
Because, I mean, you walk into a place and you tell them you're going to be back at this certain time, they're going to be there.
I mean, I try.
Yeah.
But these promoters don't bring me back though. They're like, we don't afford you once a year. And I'm like, oh, you bastards. Like
but you stay busy.
I do all right. Yeah, I mean, it's the business is like, as much as everybody says it's booming, it's not, because it's booming on Fridays and Saturdays, but it used to be booming Tuesday through Sunday. And I'd wrestle 2 and 3 times on Saturday. So I would do a morning TV on Saturday, like a 9 a.m. live TV. And then I'd double shot Saturday night. I'd hit 2 shows in Alabama. So I'd hit Memphis TV, and then I'd hit 2 shows in Alabama. So I'd hit Huntsville and then Muscle Shoals. And so I'd wrestle 3 times on a Saturday back in the day. And that was just a Saturday. And then we had, Tuesday would be in Otwell, Indiana. Wednesday, Evansville, Indiana. Thursday would be in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then Friday and Saturday were, like I said, we just had to hit that. Friday would be a spot town, so we'd always have a Friday throw coming in, and then Sunday we'd hit. It was somewhere in Kentucky, Georgetown, Kentucky. We'd hit on Sundays, so we always had something going on. I mean, we would stay booked. Like, so my first, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years, 6 years in the business, I was wrestling 6 days a week. But probably like 8 times those 6 days a week.
Wow. So where will you be next?
I'm actually I'm in Nashville Friday for CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling, and then there's a pretty good sized show that Sunday in Clarksville, Tennessee. So you can kind of double shot if you're like a fan trying to come around or whatever. In Nashville and Clarksville is like spitting distance away. And there's just 2 big shows going on in the same area. That's what I'm trying to say. So I got Friday, Nashville, Saturday, somewhere in Kentucky, can't remember right off the top of my head, and then Sunday back here in Clarksville.
What do you have? Do you have anything after that you can remember?
We just got to go 1 weekend at a time.
CCW Nashville, October 25th, Clarksville, October 27th.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So I don't know what I got this weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I have to look at my phone, and I'm on it, so I can't look.
Well, if you let us know, we'll share it, and we'll get it out there too.
All right. Well, share those 2. Those 2 are big shows, so share those.
We'll definitely share those. And FTC needs to book you again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Last time we had that big storm and everything, you didn't get to wrestle.
I know. Man, I drove all the way there just to drink and hang out.
Yeah.
I was okay with that. Man, that next day, I don't remember. So Joe gave me a ride back to the hotel. So I woke up and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get to my car. I was like, oh, I remember it being, only like a few blocks away. So I GPSed it, and it was only like, I don't know, 6 minutes walking distance. So I walk out of the hotel, walk all the way back to the bar, and my car is not in the parking lot. So I called Joe and I was like, dude, where's my car? And he's like, man, I told you I had one of my trainees drive it to the hotel. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, I'm at the bar. I was like, he's like, man, I'm like an hour and a half away. I was like, well, good news is it's open. I was like, I'm gonna sit down and start drinking. I was like, let me know when you get here. I was like, I'm not walking back. I was like, I know it's only 7 minutes, but I ain't walking it. Like, screw that. So yep.
Oh gosh.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah. Yes. Next time you come, we'll have to get a chance to hang out more.
Yeah, yeah. As long as rain doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm like sugar, I could have melted out there in that.
That lightning could have melted anybody. That was
see, I don't even remember any lightning. I don't remember any lightning.
That's because you didn't go outside.
Hey, it's because I can melt.
We were outside putting chairs up and stuff. Lightning was going crazy. Whew, that was crazy. Crazy. But
I thought James Storm was coming into town or something. There's a storm coming through.
yeah. That's what it was. Well, SEC, get back on booking. Book him again. Brox, I know you're watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit some other buttons. Don't just hit the get off this thing and start booking some shit.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on with us. Hope you come back again.
Yeah, just let me know. I can talk forever, so just let me know.
Yeah. Well, see, we didn't want to keep you too long. I mean,
yeah, it happens. I'll be on here all night. Like I'll keep drinking my little decaf, and I'll just keep going. So you guys will run out of bandwidth or whatever it's called on the internet these days.
Yeah. Oh, we're not worried about that. Computer might shut down.
It will. Yeah, you gotta watch it. My little flip phone right here.
It'll die too, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be like, see ya, we're done. But yeah, get hold of you and you'll have to come back.
Yeah. Just let me know and hit me up. Keep up with me on Facebook. Anybody out there, if you want to book me or anything like that, you can get a hold of me at chasestevensbookings or at yahoo.com. And if Joe's watching or anybody's booking that, there it's Chase Stevens Bookings at yahoo.com. I'm not gonna spell that because I'll end up misspelling it in between. But
we can even text you, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. You blocked him.
Yeah, that's all right. He's got a fake account. He can get a hold of me on.
Hey, merch. Do you have your merch? Where is it?
Oh, I thought you said March. I was like, Jesus, I'm trying to make it through the weekend. You're like talking about March.
No, merch.
Yeah. I re-upped on my merch. I got my merch now. I wasn't gonna put it out. It was raining. Are you kidding me? I'm joking. I had no idea it was raining. I swear I didn't.
Well, how would people order it if they want to order it?
So that's a good question. I wish I'd have wrote that down before I got on here. Pro wrestling tees. Just search Chase Stevens. All my t-shirts are on there. And then just Google me. You can find me. Chase Stevens t-shirts.
Just Google him. Search
Google me. Google me, bitch.
Oh gosh, that was great. I thought there was another. Oh, and Brox also said, where'd it go? It didn't go away.
This is why I blocked him.
Sure.
He's always commenting on things.
What is it? No. Where'd it go? Come on. Destiny, you made it go away. Oh, he said, Brox said, have you embarrassed Destiny yet?
I don't know. The fact she didn't know what a flip phone was. She's been red-faced this whole time I've been on the phone.
Yep.
I thought she tanned today or something. I know. Got those rosy cheeks.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you again so much, and we will get back in touch with you.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you guys at home for watching and listening or whatever you're doing. Listen to this old record player. You guys take care. Thank you guys.
This is Cindy and Destiny of Keep It Real podcast with the natural Chase Stevens. You guys go follow him, check him out, go to a show, buy some merch.
Yeah,
Book
dare
him.
you.
Yes.
Dare you. I dare you.
See you guys.